Lately in life, I've been feeling a little bit lost, a little bit confused, not being as grateful as I should be for where I am in this journey. And I remember Gary Vee saying that when you feel this way, to go to a retirement home and talk to the people there. So today, that's exactly what we're gonna do. The people are 4 to 5 times older than I am and 1,000% more wiser. So let's go see what they have to say.
Hi, my name's Christian Cedery. I am 66 years old. I've been here for 4 months. Don't really have to do anything except live. I was watching my sister in a pool in our yard. I had one of those collapsible lawn chairs and they had the metal things. Well, I went forward like this and the whole thing closed up and it took off the top of my thumb.
A new girl moved to town and she showed me what to do with people who were annoying, and she taught me something I never forgot. She said, you go up to them, you take them by the hand and just pick them up by the hand and you can throw them. And I did, and I thought, oh, that's wonderful.
I did odd jobs around and to make a few money. I had a paper route, just odd stuff. And I learned at a young age that money means a lot. You need to save it, don't.
One of the best days I remember, and I hope it doesn't sound shallow, but it was just realizing that I had broken away from my parents and that I was in college and that I was essentially on my own and that I had this freedom to be who I wanted to be and not have any conform to anything that my father or mother would expect. I remember driving down the highway out of my town, leaving my parents' house and just screaming out the car window to get to the city and just like letting out like this battle cry that I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to do what they say anymore.
The days my grandkids were born and my kids' weddings, not mine. It's a new life, it's a new beginning, a promise of something new and, awakening.
It was exciting. Well, just before World War II started, my dad got us up in the middle of the night. He knew of something that was going to be on the front pages eventually. Winston Churchill had begged Franklin D. Roosevelt for airplanes. This was a clandestine sort of an arrangement between Great Britain and America. But the Americans had planes that Roosevelt would let go, but they had to be taken across the border to Canada. That was against the law, but they had to do it some way. So they drove outside of town where we lived, and they got horses, the American side. The horses moved the plane over across into Canada, and then the planes took off from Canada and landed in Great Britain. And it was a very exciting thing for us. My dad said, you cannot talk about it. And we didn't. One of my kids gave me a really thick book about Winston Churchill. That incident was in that book.
I did ecstasy. Don't do ecstasy. Don't do drugs. That's my advice. That's what I want to say in that. Don't take ecstasy because it made me do things I would have never done.
Getting married. Yeah. I got married because I wanted to get out of my house, and it didn't work out. The only good thing was I got my kids. That's the best thing that happened.
I have kids that I call my grandkids that are not. But it does be good to see them growing up and behaving right, do the right things, It makes your heart feel good that you've accomplished something in your life that doesn't pay cash, but it does help you along and let other people know that this guy's worth something.
When I was doing my day of graduation of high school, for me, getting into college was not easy. I was slow to progress. I was very distracted. And what I would basically do all the time in class was just draw. And so when I graduated, I had already, the last 2 years of high school, I had a counselor tell me that I would never get into a college. The day I graduated, I was already enrolled in orientation and accepted at Texas State University. So that was a very proud moment when I received my diploma and I went to my counselor and said, oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm starting orientation.
My proudest moment, getting clean, probably. Step number 1 is admitting, and everybody knows that. But it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to admit that you have a problem because everybody says, I don't have a problem. But in your heart of hearts, you know, and you have to admit it. My thing was, I would smoke a joint. I'd think, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. And then I'd get high and I'd think, damn it, why did I do that? And I'd be so mad at myself. My daughter and I used to get high together. And we got high one day and my mom and dad came in and I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And I think that was my turning point. It's going to take something, a shock factor, being embarrassed, being pushed to the limit. You know, something's going to trigger you.
My first husband and I divorced. He just got to be too much. And I realized down deep he was a bully, and I didn't appreciate that. But I think had he been raised differently, we would have been fine, because he was fun to be with, but he wasn't entirely honest. And I remarried a man who had been in World War II, great guy.
Darcy. So she's my ex-wife, wonderful gal, no longer married to her. So I've had that wife, and that means I had 2 wives so far in my life, and I don't plan on having any more.
Well, love is so broad. Just so much love, so much out there in the world. There's so much more than love. I think for some young people, they have relationships and they're not on the same page. Say the other person is just, you know, maybe promiscuous or has other partners, and this other person is not like that. But they may click sexually. And unfortunately, I think for some people, they take that as love, and I know that I did, and I would become completely unhinged or hurt or unstable, and I would do things that were not, you know, I'm like the one at the door at 3 in the morning. Hey, why did this happen? Why did you do this to me?
It has to be easy. If you find somebody who you click with and you have fun with, you can laugh, you can do crazy things, just living.
You want to do what you can to make them feel good. You know, if they're in the dumps, help them out. If you're feeling bad, you know, don't burden them with your problems.
Be careful. The older I get, I realize just don't hurry into anything. Love is important, but you have to be friends too.
It's something that you got to think about the other person. You know, it's 2 people now, and you know the old saying, "A happy wife is a happy life."
I'd say the hardest of my life is when my mom died. My dad died earlier, but when my mom died, it just seemed like part of me went with it. And, but I'm trying to make the best I can, the way she'd want me to do.
No. I think that's the hard thing to find. I think people do. Some people have been married 65, 70 years. They found happiness, maybe. Like, I'm not happy here.
During moments of life, yeah. I think it comes in cycles. Sometimes the universe just brings it to you. It happens. There were times when I thought, yeah, I'm truly satisfied. I think when you do the right things, I think the universe pays you back. So I think that's very important. That's what I would like for young people to know. Take the time to do that, because it'll just simplify your life and not muddle your life, and learn to know who to put your energy into and who not to.
For me, it's being married, and I'm divorced already. Anyway,
Yeah, for 22 years I did. I mean, we argue, sure, everybody argues. And people that are together and say they don't argue, they're lying. You know, but we had a lot of fun, and she gave me a son.
Oh yeah, we had more fun. This was the fella in the military. He had a wonderful sense of humor, and we'd crack each other up all the time. We went shopping one time, and he had no taste at all when it came to colors, because he was colorblind. He came and found me in the store, and he had on this horrible plaid jacket. Oh gosh, the colors were awful. And he said, "How do I look?" And he had it on over a jumpsuit that he was wearing. And when he asked me, he said, "Well, how do I look?" And I said, "Like a bag of stolen laundry." He laughed and laughed and laughed. He never took me clothes shopping with him. He picked out his own clothes from then on.
My dream was to be a singer. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, was grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead was told, no, you can't make it, you can't make it, you can't make it. And I should have not listened. I've had different opportunities with things that I've never pursued because I was always told, no, you can't do that. I see now that I should have done it. It's always a question in your mind that, what if you'd have tried?
I had a very good friend. She was very, very close to me, very special, very smart, very different, very cute. But unfortunately, she took her own life. I felt like at the time I did everything I could. There is that part of me that says, well, what if I had done something different? Would it have made a difference? I wish that there was a pivoting point. I wish that it had not happened.
I got a divorce, but it was more like a cordial separation. I saw her one day, I told her, look, I'm kind of tired of being married. And she said, I'm tired of being married too. So we kind of hit it off there. There was no money problem with either one of us, so it worked out pretty good. I still talk to her, and we still see each other once in a while.
The regret was that I didn't realize sooner that he was never going to change. Know when to walk away. My dad would tell you, nip it in the bud, just let it go.
I notice this about young people today, and I'm trying to get my son pay attention to detail. They just don't pay attention what's around them. They never look up. You'd be surprised what goes on around people when you look up. You're not Superman. I thought this when I was younger. I'm Superman. I can do anything and not get hurt. That's not true. You can do the dumbest things and you still get hurt. Don't rush through life. Stop every now and then. Smell the roses. Take your time. You're in no hurry. It will get there. Believe me. A lot quicker than you think it will. Man, I can't believe I woke up the other day and I thought I'm 64 years old. Where did the time go?
Learn to walk away when you know it's a hopeless situation. Don't give up yourself where it messes up your life or makes you not stay on your path and it derails you or makes you feel like, you're not focused and you've hurt yourself over someone who doesn't really care, who doesn't value you, because they're not losing sleep over it. I was in Vegas, I was in the Bellagio, and it was brand new. It was just open, and there was nobody in there. I knew that there were like these high rollers in this room, and they were like celebrities and stuff, but out in the lobby where the slot machines are, there was nobody really. I walked around, and I put money in a slot machine, and like $5,000 came out. So I put a 20 in, and on the first pull, and so I took the money and I walked away. Of course you did. I walked away, and I went to the Versace shop and bought a shirt.
To do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because that's the Bible. But that should be what you live by. Because it's just people nowadays they run off and leave their young at home and they just don't take care of them like they should. And divorce, and if they got children, that's the worst thing in the world. It's for a child to have to go through it, losing his mom or dad to, just see them every once in a while. And that's kind of my theory.
As far as advice is concerned, I would say that when you settle down in a new place that's unfamiliar to you, and you don't have any friends, you don't know anybody, volunteer, find out what's needed, and go join them, because you'll meet good people.
Honesty is the best way to have your integrity and have fun at the same time. Sometimes it's difficult to own up to something that I'm not very proud of.
If you have a dream, pursue it. Don't let other people tell you, no, you're not good enough, you won't make it. That's probably my biggest advice, is go for it. If you fail, you fail, but at least you can say you tried.